Hello, everyone. Hi, Dr. Lai. How are you doing? You are muted. I can't hear you.
I'm good, Pastor. How are you?
I'm doing well. So good to see you.
Praise
Yeah,
God.
it's a wonderful team, and looking forward.
Yep, praise the Lord. Beautiful day.
Hey, I'm just seeing who we have here.
Hi, James.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dr. Lai.
Good morning.
Morning, team.
Want to welcome all the rest of you. Thank you so much for joining in this morning. Hi, James. Good to see you. Hi, Simoy Royal, all the way from Kuching. And I think it's going to be a lovely, lovely morning. It's even better when I have the least to do. It's always the best that we, yeah. Um, if you still need to invite somebody on board, please do that. And we're looking for a great time together. Yeah. So I think we're gonna start in about 5 minutes or so. We're just getting some technical things ready, and then we're ready to go. Okay. God bless you. Have an amazing time together today, and have an amazing weekend. God bless you. On behalf of Katrina is in the cat in the farm, so she sends her regards. I have our James, who's our chairman, and of course, Dr. Lai is part of the trustee board. So, on behalf of them and the rest of the team, we welcome you. God bless you. Have a great time.
Hi, we are the Dignity for Children Foundation. Our vision is to nurture children of all ages to become world changers through education. Imagine a world where children grow up to become agents of change in their own communities. That's what we are after, and it all begins with education. Dignity's education programs includes a Montessori early childhood program for children aged 2 to 6 years old. By the way, did you know that we were the first Montessori preschool for the poor in Malaysia? We also have a Montessori primary program for children aged 7 to 12. We run a secondary education program for children aged 13 and above, and all our programs are taught in English. Teenagers in Forms 4 and 5 go through a dual-track program where they do the Cambridge IGCSE curriculum alongside mandatory skills development classes through our transformational enterprises. One of the highlights of this program is the 1-month travel and learn component. Students spend time away from home with their teachers in a farm to learn leadership skills, independence, and many other soft skills that are necessary to prepare them for their future. We know that quality education is more than just the classroom, so we go the extra mile to provide our children with transportation to and from school, daily meals, annual medical checkups, various supplementary workshops relating to health and wellness, weekly sports activities, and visual and expressive arts education. We also run teachers training programs and an annual football tournament called the Faisal Cup. Our transformational enterprises are real-life learning classrooms for our secondary students. As of 2019, we have launched a cafe, a hair salon, a sewing shop, an art space, and a bakery. Alongside this, we also have 4 other skills classes such as graphic design, woodwork, computer programming, and urban gardening to provide well-rounded learning experiences for our students. We welcome you to join and journey with us to provide quality education for the urban poor to nurture them into agents of transformation.
Nhân nhân sinh年平等，但係有分高低。如果你嘅父母有讀過書，有儲到鐳，放假有得出去玩，大家喺一齊好開心。你已經好過好多人，尤其是係我咁嘅小朋友。我叫做咪咪，我唔似其他嘅小朋友。我話俾你知啦，我阿媽都冇返過學。我好少見到我爸爸。 喺返到屋企時候，係幫媽媽留膠。我好遠啊！我第二個女時候，我唔知我做得咩嘢呢。
No child wants to be born poor. It is not their choice and definitely not their fault. If they are left alone without any intervention, chances of them breaking out of poverty will be very slim. They will continue to be poor.
My family has 8 children. I had to stop school and go to work to earn some money for my family. I am 14 years old. My father asked me to marry when I was 12, so I stopped my school. This is my baby.
My mother has been sick for 3 months. I stopped school to take care of her.
There are so many children in Malaysia just like Mimi, but we all can do something about it. We can help them get back to school. We can help these children break the cycle of poverty, and we can rewrite their amazing destiny. Will you not help somebody like Mimi go back to school today? Join us to redeem their childhood and restore hope. My friends, it is possible.
Good morning, everyone. So good to be here. Though I'm not physically with you guys, here with me in the auditorium, we do have more than one. It's not just me alone here, and you'll be seeing some of them later. We have the tech team here with us. Pastor Elisha is here with us as well, Mr. Liu. So thank you for tuning in. We also have friends and supporters from US. Thank you so much for just supporting. So today's event is just going to be a really an honest sharing. We're going to share with you different stories and all that. But before that, so if we are in a physical space, we would be exchanging hellos, we will be greeting one another. So if I could just ask for you guys to just live up the chat group, just say hello to one another. Tell us what's your favorite Malaysian food. I'm not biased, but I love Edx Nasi Kerabu. If you have not tried, please come to Edx. Our cafe is here in Sentul. So tell us what's your favorite Malaysian food. And we might explore having it in Edx if it's something worth exploring. Dim sum. Sure, Malaysian dim sum. What else? Nasi lemak? Char kway teow, I'm looking here at my laptop at your responses. Any more? Roti jala, I love roti jala too. Kari laksa, Auntie Mary. Roti canai, yes, Hannah. Nice. Ramly burger. Thosai lover. Oh, I love thosai. Have you tried the bangsa one? That's really good. Oh, kway teow teng. All right, thank you for your responses. So this is the time where we hello, and then now we get seated down as we're going to start. I'll just briefly, I think they will flash the slide of the agenda. We'll just flash you through briefly what's going to happen for the next hour and a half. It's not too long, but not too short as well. It's going to be packed with stories. So tune in, focus, get your cup of coffee or tea. We're going to start, of course, with an opening address right after this by our chairman, and then we'll have stories by our students, alumni, and also intern. And we'll have 4 beautiful ladies who will be seated here live, doing it live, okay? It's not pre-recorded. And then, we'll end with closing address by our co-founder, Reverend Elisha. So feel free at any time if you want to ask us questions. There will be people to attend to your questions in the chat group. Hope you're excited. I am excited. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. James is virtual, right? Let's put Mr. James on, our chairman. Before I introduce, I don't have a long introduction of him, but I know he's a rugby enthusiast. He's an amazing father. He's a loving leader and counsel that we can always look to for support, for guidance. So Thank you, Mr. James. Over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, great. A very good morning to all of you, our Empower a Child sponsors, our supporters, friends, Dignity staff, and our students. Welcome to this morning's sharing session. We have seen unprecedented struggles in the last 18 months and have adversely impacted every adult and child living in Malaysia and beyond, whether it's financial, emotional, psychological, social, or spiritual. The effects are further amplified for the B40 and the refugee families, where the main challenge faced is the loss of their family's daily wage income, resulting in distress across the board for every member of that family. At Dignity, we saw the needs tremendously increased. Back in 2017, our student population was about 1,000 students with 325 under scholarship. At the start of this 2021 year, we had an enrollment of about 1,700 with 663 scholarship students with another 350 on the waiting list. On top of that, we've identified women at risk that require ongoing support. 63 single mothers, 15 pregnant mothers who need help ongoing on a day-to-day basis as well. Following on from 2020, Dignity continued to support families in need with food aid, hygiene packs, and during the most recent MCO, we've seen an increase in the number of families that requested for rental assistance and financial aid as they were not able to pay their rent, utilities, and basic bills. Through an appeal, we were able to support more than 80 families with over 120,000 ringgit dispersed for rental support to prevent them from being evicted by their landlords. One thing is clear, in the last 18 months has confirmed that Dignity's vision, mission are equally, if not more, relevant and urgent today, as when we started over 20 years ago, as the pandemic further widened the gap between the poor and the privileged. At Dignity, we continue to drive towards our vision to nurture and empower world changes through transformative education. COVID-19 indeed has transformed the way we educate our children and our students. I'm pleased to say that in 2021, despite the lockdowns, our student attendance during online classes ranged from over 80% to up to 95%. And our team continued to create online content, teaching content to engage our students even more. To our EAC sponsors, supporters, and friends of Dignity, your support, whether financial, in-kind, or your words of encouragement have made a massive difference to our students, their families, their communities, and our staff. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you. It has ensured that our students are able to continue studying, especially during the hardest struggles over the MCO periods. For every struggle, there's an equally inspiring story of overcoming, triumph, love, and hope. So for the next hour or so, let us hear from our students, our teachers, about their journey of how they turn their struggles into strength. Thank you, stay safe, have a great day, and God bless you all. Back to you, Renee.
Mr. James, probably you guys, most of you would not know, but Mr. James and together with his wife, Sue Ann, has been great supporters during our food aid and all that. They have, together with Shopper 360 team, not just physical goods, but they have also availed themselves in terms of physical labor. Their teams have helped us, drove us around, drove the food packs around to distribute, to help us save the Grab cost and all that. So thank you, Mr. James. Thank you, Sue Ann, if you are there as well. So yes, as Mr. James said, we're gonna hear a lot more stories. So you don't want to hear me talk, but we're gonna have our very first alumni. His name is Moses Lapai. He used to study, he was a student, so he graduated in 2016. He scored 4 A's and 1 C for IGCSE. And went on to pursue his degree in Nottingham University, Malaysia. He has since graduated and now he's working as a community worker. So yeah, enjoy his story.
Hi, my name is Moses Lapai. So when I first came to Malaysia in 2012, I started off with the community school for 2 years in Center 5 and 6. After 2 years in community school, I came to Dignity 2014, then 2015. 2016, I was in Dignity. Then after that, 2017, started uni until this year. So I started uni foundation in science in 2017, right after IGCSE at Dignity. And then September 2018, I started my first year until this year. So the degree was 3 years, 3-year course. My parents really wanted the children to be educated. I think that's every parent, right? So they're trying their best. Since they came here, they're trying their best to get us educated because they themselves did not complete even high school. They lost their hope coming to this country where they don't know the local language and they don't know how to speak English. Knowing that coming from a country illegally, you have no access to proper formal education here, right? So knowing all this, they were really disappointed and hopeless at one point, and I myself. But then coming to know that there is this education that's offering out there that you can continue with your life, we found some kind of hope there, a light at the end of the tunnel. So without education, I would say it would be rather difficult to even adapt to the life in Malaysia. Well, education is not just about all the different subjects that you learn. A lot of things, a lot of experiences, and a lot of skills along the way come with that in that process of being educated. You get to meet with people, you get to interact with people. I think all these somehow really help you when you get older, and I think that makes a great difference between my parents and myself. Break the cycle of poverty through education, correct? So I think that is really true, and I've seen that with my own life. I hope for now is that all the young people who are coming up would believe in education, and that they would still treasure, right? With all the information that you can get today, but I hope that they will still treasure and believe in education. I thank my parents, first of all, for treasuring education, for wanting their children to be educated. Other than that, I'm thankful to Dignity, particularly, starting from Auntie Pat and Pastor Elisha, everybody who's involved here. The education here, particularly in Dignity, has also changed many others' lives, not just mine, definitely. Thankful to the teachers as well, helping, coming here and then spending some time with underprivileged children. I think I love to teach, so probably becoming an educator probably. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that video. If you can give a virtual clap. I personally love hearing stories of alumni and seeing their transformational journey. I've not met Moses because I've only been in Dignity for 3.5 years, and he graduated in 2016. But I've met his brother. What's his brother's name? David. Yeah. So David is a really talented photographer. He's doing freelancing and all that. So it's really great to see that they initially came with a sense of disappointment, hopelessness, the struggles. I've heard from Moses as well that his parents were struggling, just trying to survive in this country, but they have thrived, and he has graduated with a degree from Nottingham, and now he wants to give back. And I just heard from one of our head as well, Priscilla, that he called her at 12 a.m. and was asking very serious question, and the question was actually because he said he's tutoring a student, right? And that was for an assessment entry test to join in Dignity. And just to see that heart of his and many of our alumni that wants to give back and invest back in the next generation, that is really, really, it encourages us, it encourages me to keep on going as well. But yes, so without further ado, you're gonna hear many more stories. I'm no longer alone here. I have 4 beautiful ladies here with me. Camera will see them. Oh yes, camera can see them. So yes, we have with me this Rebecca. She's the head of secondary program, and that's Melissa. She's with the. Okay, I'm just going to go through my papers as well. Yeah, so she's with the younger, lower primary education, and then Shireen. She heads the primary program, and that's Priscilla. Most of you probably have seen all of them. She heads the Dignity College and Employability program. So before we go into a sharing, I'll just have a bit of context for those of you who have not visited us or are new to Dignity's work or do not know much about education programs. So we are one of the more comprehensive education for the poor here in Malaysia. So we have the youngest one, formative years. Our youngest baby is Auntie Ram's class, which is 2 years old, I believe. That's our youngest. And then we go all the way up to 19 years old. That's our oldest age group. So it really takes a lot of resources. Across Instanto Boulevard, we have about 42 floors, and we have about 160 strong team of full-time staff with us. And despite of the pandemic, as Mr. James has shared different struggles, but also triumphs, we also started an A-levels program. So this is beyond our secondary program. It's for 10 of our alumni. It was also a boarding program. You will hear a bit more from Rebecca later. So we definitely look forward to growing beyond secondary, tertiary, and hopefully, we can grow step by step with them all the way. So this year alone, our total number of students is a whooping 1,600 students, plus if we count additional ones, including our community classroom students, which are not based here in Sentul with us, that's another 250 students, children. Isn't that amazing to know that we think that pandemic has stopped education in some sense of way, but we have grown majorly. And yeah, another interesting fact about our children and youth is that we have not just 5 different nationalities, we have 20 different nationalities. So one day, for those of you, about 70% of you who have not visited us, do come. My first visit here, I was like, wow, it's just different faces, different colors. It's very vibrant. It's very rich in culture. Yeah, we say Malaysia is a melting pot, but that one is like a overwhelming melting pot here in Dignity. So yes, without further delay, we're gonna have a time of sharing. We didn't really prep for this, so they will be heartfelt sharings. These beautiful ladies have been anchoring Dignity for many years. They have all been here before I was even here. And yeah, for those of you who are sending questions, thank you for your really good questions. We have bounced it off with one another, so we hope to address all of it during this time. But if you do have additional, do put it in. When we have time, we'll address it. Yeah? So we'll move to the introduction. So I will turn here a bit. So Rebecca, by seniority, she's been with Dignity the longest as well. So she will do the introduction first. She'll share with us how long she's been with us, why she decided to join Dignity. If you do not know, she has a master's in counseling, very qualified, studied in the States. But yes, she's dedicated 9.5 years with Dignity.
Thanks, Renee. I was like, oh, what's your name? So I joined in June 2012. So that's 9 years and 4 months. I came in as a teacher, actually, in a lower primary department. And then I was in the upper primary, then I was in the lower secondary, then I was in the CEO's office. And then 3 years ago, I was in the upper secondary program. So that is where I'm still there. So it has been quite an interesting journey, a very learning, humbling experience. So yeah, has been very, very good.
How was it 9.5 years ago?
We were very small. I remember we only had 2 blocks, so that would be like, yeah, very small. Like everybody know everybody. We have like maybe 20 staff or something like that. So now we have just like you mentioned,
160 staff.
160.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Thanks, Rebecca. And now second seniority, Shireen.
Seniority is overstatement. Yeah, half of Rebecca's year later, I'm here, right? So I joined Dignity in December 2016, right after I finished 2 years of contract teaching in national school. with Teach for Malaysia. So I came here just to visit the school because I was one of the staff actually called me and asked me whether I would like to visit the school to see the program and whatnot. I thought like, oh, okay, that's good. I've never, really been to like Sentul because I'm actually from Sabah myself. So I came to visit. That time was actually a school holiday, and the classrooms were empty. I went to different classrooms from toddler all the way to secondary. I was so inspired because there's no other school you can actually visit a school from toddler all the way to secondary, and here it is. And I was so inspired that how there's this bridge that is there's this bridge across primary, secondary, and whatnot. And I was also inspired by the whole youth village as well when Petrina was telling me about. So at first I left national school not wanting to teach anymore because wanting to just join any NGO to serve. But coming to Dignity, it's so different here. It's something that I really want to learn, something that I want to grow in. So yeah, I'm still here. I joined as a teacher in upper primary and still in upper primary, but working with different departments and middle primary. I also work with the secondary, to build different curriculums. I work with these ladies as well very closely in terms of like education. Yeah.
She's a mother of 2 cats. And now Priscilla.
Yes, thank you, Renee. So I'm Priscilla. How I found out about Dignity was when I started my internship with the UNHCR in the education unit. I've heard a lot of good things about Dignity because Dignity is one of the implementing partners of the UN. So I've only heard about it, and then I've only met Christina, who always came in for meetings in the UN. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Until I came for a meeting actually with Pastor Elisha and also Petrina over here next door in our cafe. And it was before Christmas, so that meeting was about the work and the education for the refugees, of course. And then before we left the meeting, and Pastor Elisha and Petrina gave us a bag with Dignity's information and also gifts, and told us that, oh, this is our Christmas gift for you. And I was really inspired by their passion when they shared about the work that they are doing. And after that, I didn't immediately join Dignity. I went overseas to volunteer, and before I finished my volunteering trip, I was looking for a job, and then I came across a social worker job vacancy in Dignity. Then I was like, whoa, everything's falling into places. So I decided to apply, and then that's how I started my journey with Dignity in 2015.
She's also very qualified, has an MBA, but yeah, very qualified ladies here. And then yes, last but not least, Melissa.
Hello everyone. So I joined Dignity in March 2018. Honestly, it was never my plan that I wanted to be a teacher, but I remembered when I did my internship in one of the lab in hospital, I asked myself that, is this the job that I wanted to do? Wake up every morning, do the same thing again and again. And then when I tried to look for a job, so I asked myself, okay, just try this job. And then during my 3 months probation, I started to fall in love with whatever we are doing here, and especially with the concept, like the Montessori concept, teaching the children, especially for those who are underprivileged. It really caught my heart. So yeah, that's why I'm here. And currently I am leading the lower primary department, serving the 7 and 8 years children. Yeah.
Thank you. Back to Melissa again, because the title is Turning Struggles into Strengths. Many of you have asked what's the struggles, with online teaching and whatnot. It's obviously the most challenging for the younger ones. So we'll start with Melissa. They'll just share a bit of what were their most struggle, their challenges dealing with the kids and online.
Yeah, because they are young learners, right? Their focus is not 100% there on the screen. So even for us as an adult, after a few minutes, we will be doing other things. But for the student at this young age, the teacher need to, keep on calling their names, trying to, catch their attention. So what we usually do is like, apart from making sure the slides is, colorful or not too bright, the colors, we try to make sure the student have fun while learning, play some games, and then, keep on calling their names as well. Yeah, to make sure like, student A, eyes on me, eyes on me. So that's one of the struggles.
Yeah, that's one of the Montessori thing that I've learned. Like the teachers here, they don't shout at the kids. When we go to field trips, normally I'll be like, shh, that kind of thing. But the teachers here would just be like, eyes on me, and that's just amazing. Montessori method. Primary program, Shireen, what's the challenge?
Yeah, I can echo Melissa as well. Like even when they say eyes on me, they're eyes on the screen, but probably different screen, Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges that we face as middle and upper primary teachers are really getting into digital learning. Like at first we were caught off guard with the whole MCO happen, and it was so difficult for us from transitioning from just WhatsApp, sending them homework and them sending us back homework, and then we had to mark all the homeworks, into Zoom, Google Meet, and then into Google Classrooms. It took us almost 3 months to actually prepare the teacher to use all these platforms, and then later on we prepare the students and the parents. So it was very difficult because the students don't know which app to download and whatnot, and then parents also they give up. They're like, you want me to download some apps, in my phone? So it's fine, no need to go to school this year. We hope that COVID-19 will not be around anymore, but well, COVID is still here. So basically, the whole challenge was getting students on board on online learning. Yeah.
Yeah, back to Melissa. So what were some of the different things that you've done last year and then for this year?
The different things, is it?
Yeah, to overcome that.
To overcome the online learning. I would say the different thing from last year is that because like what Shireen said, we didn't plan this thing to happen, right, for online class. So we are not prepared. The teachers are not prepared. Then after the first MCO, we did training for the teachers to prepare everyone as well as the students. And then this year, early of the year, we started with online class. First class, everyone is online already. So as we are prepared from last year, we also prepared our parents as well. We informed them in advance before we started our online class. And so I think because of what we experienced last year, everyone is so prepared that they know, okay, the parents know they have to download this app, and then the student, okay, they know how to use the Zoom. Of course, the new student, we need to teach them. So yeah, I think that's the new thing that we apply this year compared to last year, in terms of being prepared with the online,
Also, a really good point to add is that they also did the first ever virtual graduation, not just for the younger ones. The younger ones was quite cute. They also made mortar boards, right? Primary also did a virtual, and also secondary also did. But yeah, back to struggles. We haven't heard for the older age group. So Rebecca, what were some of the struggles?
I think keeping students engaged, because Zoom fatigue is a very real thing. Many times go to class, you'll see the fan, or you see the ceiling, or you see the wall, anything but their face, and some of them just switch off their camera completely. So it's quite hard for young children, I could imagine, but teenagers as well as adults would be finding it challenging. Yeah.
So were there times where you need to scold them to turn on the cameras, or I'm not scolding you guys for not turning on your cameras, but I think it's a bit hard for teachers because they're used to the engaging, and then you need to see their learning pace or what they're doing. Yeah. So what do you guys do?
So I think the teachers have to be very creative in their ways to engage them. So some of the things that we do is frequent check-ins. So be like, okay, give me thumbs up if you're still here. Then thumbs up. Okay, where is your thumbs up? give me a heart shape or give me a party emoji or something, just to make sure that they are still there, even though their cameras are off. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 tips I've learned. For the younger ones, eyes on me, or for the older ones, thumbs up. It helps to just keep them in check at few points. So Priscilla, over to Priscilla, because a bit of backstory of our skills training. Our amazing enterprises are also real-life classrooms for the students, but obviously during the pandemic, our enterprises were not able to operate, and therefore skills classes as well. What was that? Were there times where you're like, okay, education halted for them? Yeah.
I think before the pandemic for Dignity College, the skills training takes up 3 out of 5 days of the students' schooling days. So when the pandemic hit and MCO hit, we had to tell our students, oh, sorry, you can't come for skills training, and everything is online, but no skills training, just English, math, and everything else. And the first year of MCO was really, really difficult to get students to even come to school. In a day, in a class of maybe 20 to 25, you only have half of the attendance that you're supposed to get. So it was extremely discouraging for the teachers in the first year. And then learning from that experience this year, we had to remodel the entire structure of the program and started the live-in program or a boarding program here in Sentul and as well as in our farm academy in Bentong. So we took our students in. We started off with about 40 to 50 here in Sentul, and then in March, we took 90 of them to our farm academy together with 6 teachers, 6 of us. So it's the adaptability, I would say, of the teachers as well as the students, because it wasn't easy convincing the parents as well to tell them, oh, we're going to take your kids away, to live away from you. Some were super happy, oh, please take my kids. And so it was really a great learning curve for all of us, as well as the students, but we could see the fruits. Right now, at the end of the year, we're just really pleased with the decision to remodel the whole thing.
Probably a bit of backstory. Could you share with us, like, how does 1 week of the live-in program look like for the farm and also so there's 2 live-ins, right? She mentioned, so there's a batch that was living here in Sentul, and then another batch that were in
Bentong. 1 week felt like 1 year. 1 week, because you're with them 24/7. In the morning you see them, before you sleep you still see them, In the middle of the night when they had stomachache, you have to take them to the clinic. So all this had happened, or to the hospital for like emergencies and whatnot. I think I'm very grateful for having a great team, to be working with a great team, including Rebecca's team, because both of our teams were working together to support the kids when they were here in live-in. I think without the teachers, the students wouldn't have reaped the fruits that we had today.
Rebecca, you want to share the Sentul one?
Oh, yeah. So
Rebecca and Priscilla both are the 24/7 carers.
So we had, in the beginning, we had like 40 of them, and then when the 40 went to the farm, we had another, I think almost 100, isn't it? We almost have 100 students in Sentul. And I think in the beginning when we had the idea, even when Patrina gave us the idea, and we're like, and once we are convinced, we have to then convince the parents and the students. That's why we have students and parents were asking, teacher, why can't we just study online? Online was working fine. It was not fine, but they were like, it was fine. I just don't want to stay in school. And the same batch of students, at the end of the leave-in, they would come to me, especially some girls, they would hug me, teacher, thank you so much for this program. I have parents even now asking, Rebecca, when is the next leave-in program? Do you have it for next year as well? So I think sometimes we underestimate the power of human contact, because when you have the leave-in program here, you bring some sense of normalcy to their routine. They get to hang out with their friends, they get to chat with their teachers. So that really makes a big difference.
I think one thing that I've observed as well, because I did help out in Bentong a bit, not 3 months, just a few days. So just to see the teachers there 24/7, their eye bags, they're drained, because it's not just physical teaching, it's not just physical labor, but it's the mental part that's draining. But I think one thing that what Rebecca mentioned, I think just to echo a bit is, because if they're stuck at home, their literal communication tool is only the devices and Zoom fatigue and whatnot. But then you go on many other different things online. But when you're in a farm, unfortunately, we don't have very good data, so yay. So they're forced to communicate. They're forced to sit on a table with no devices, not many board games or options as well. So they're just communicating with one another, and few visits later, months intervals, and I can still see that they're so tight-knitted, and the confidence level is something that classrooms teaching probably would never be able to achieve that. So yeah, if you're there, you can say a word of encouragement to those teachers, Rebecca and Pris as well, for being there 24/7. We still have a batch of students in Bentong with just 2 teachers there. So yeah, just encouraging words to cheer them on. And yeah, so, sorry, flipping page. Yeah, I think moving on to the a bit younger children, like Shireen, so for like your primary programs or your past few years that you've been here, were there times where you felt like, because we work with very diverse and different children and youth. Some have been abused, some have been traumatized, some have come from war-torn countries, or some didn't quite fit into the government Chinese schools. So yeah, it's so diverse. So yeah, were there times where you just felt like, oh, I'm just so helpless, or yeah?
Yeah, I think that's where I mean, the whole challenges that, you know, working with different students from different community, different culture, all comes not just, you know, from this whole COVID or online learning, but also, you know, because I come from a national school, like I taught national schools, I don't need to really know what's happening at home. I just need to teach my subjects. But in Dignity over here, you know, teaching so many of them, and I need to know, you know, their culture, so that, because the culture is so ingrained in them, you know, like I need to understand, so I need to really do research and learn about different cultures here, so that I don't, you know, overstep anything, right, while teaching them. So as I was hearing, I mean, as we were trying to make sure every kid come online, you know, come for online classes, participate in class, teacher lesson plan, they make sure students engage in class, get the topics, the learning goals, you know, all these things. And then there are cases where, I mean, you would probably hear this in secondary, but this is something very shocking in primary as well, that I think sometime in August this year, a teacher sent a message to me and told me that, hey Shireen, you know, there's something that I need to tell you, a very sad news. So one of the girl who have not been coming to school and only came to school for, let's say, 2 months, right? Since she enrolled into this school, she, all of a sudden, one of the students actually told the teacher that she got married, and she's just 12 years old. We were like, oh no, what to do? We have not, like, no, like, because if it's a physical schooling, right, we don't see the student, we know, right, we know if the student is not here, then we go for home visits, you know, we get the students back to school, but this is online, it's so difficult to track, right? So the teacher been calling the student, no one pick up, and what we got to know is that from a social media, another student showed a picture of her got married, and the teacher was like, okay, what do we do now? So we tried calling the brothers, and then the brothers all of a sudden, you know, they pick up, and then the brother told us that she ran away from home. She ran away from home a few days ago, and then suddenly got married. The brother found out she got married from social media as well. So this actually alarmed the whole community. Even our welfare department stepped in as well. We thought maybe we could retrieve whether this is child marriage, this is illegal and whatnot. This whole thing was very new to us as primary teachers. So what do we do next? Apparently the brothers were very unhappy. Her parents passed away many years ago, so she was under the care of brothers. And during the whole COVID-19, during MCO, she was at home. And she wasn't having a really good relationship with the brother because the brother also got married, has his own family as well. And I think, being in that child's shoe, she probably don't have anyone to listen to her, to care for her. And of course, then this other guy on social media contacted her and say, I love you, stay with me forever. Okay, she ran away. And I think that was a whole hoo-ha, and the brothers were very upset about it, and they didn't even they wanted to report police, but the community said no, because it might, create the attention, So, so basically, the family were having this whole drama at home as well. So the teachers had to step in. The teacher don't know what to do, and I think from then on we realized that it's so difficult for us to be able to we are just in front of our screen with the phone. We can't do anything because that time was the third MCO, and we just couldn't do anything. We couldn't go into their homes. That was very difficult when we couldn't do anything. Yeah.
I joined Dignity 3.5 years ago. I think for us, we are educated. I think we know the importance of education, but first time hearing stories similar to this, when I first joined, I was like, what? We have given them a platform, we have given them such a nice classroom, we've given them education, the opportunity for education. But I think that at times we don't see the unseen things behind. Like she said, it's not just the gift of education, but it comes with a lot more other things that need to package together. We need to know the family, we need to know the culture, we need to know how to support the parents, and that's where dignity is everything, in a way that we just I think like what Pastor always the first visit he mentioned is that it has to be fluid. It cannot be one size fits all, and that's why that's the beauty of Montessori. That's the beauty of dignity. That's the welfare program, and the teachers really do so much more than teaching. If you didn't catch, Shireen mentioned it's home visitations. So the teachers are pre-COVID days, and hopefully soon to come, it will be normal again, to actually do home visitations, because this will show them so much more than they come, because the children will come to school in uniform. We make them wear uniform for dignity. But once they're home, they're not in their uniforms. They're in their probably not very conducive environment where they're not loved, they're lack of the parental love and whatnot, and abuse or whatnot that we don't see. And home visitations will allow them to catch that. So just a bit of backstory that we are grateful. We are really grateful for all of you supporters who believes in the importance of education. But we wanted you guys to have also a bigger picture of what goes on top of the classes. Yeah, so Priscilla, is there anything where you felt, you cry at home and like, you can't help this child? Yeah.
I think there were many, many moments of that, especially in the first few years of in Dignity. As I mentioned, I joined as a social worker in the welfare department, and in the welfare department, you just come across so many different types of cases, so many different types of parents, and like what Shireen said, dealing with the culture, dealing with the religion, dealing with their history, and like what Renee said, the education that we do here is not just educating a child. We are struggling to get parents on board. We need to get the community on board. We need to get the neighbors on board in order to support a child or a family. And like the saying says, right, it takes a village to raise a child. I think I wouldn't add on to that, but I would say how I pick myself up from those moments. I think it's celebrating the little successes that counts, because it can get very tiring, right? Emotionally or physically or psychologically, very, very draining. But when you see a child coming to say thank you to you, or when you see a child saying please in a sentence after you tell them to say please in a sentence, or when you see them being so disciplined. Like I just came back from the farm today. I was there over the past 2 days and of course the past weeks as well. And I was just telling the students that all that you know how to behave today didn't just happen in one day and didn't just happen because of one person. It happened because of a community, because you know these are the rules and my teachers explain to me why I have to do this, and then I follow, and then I become a better person. And I told them, next year when a new batch of students come in, you become the leaders. The teachers are not going to be there to tell you what to do anymore because you already know what to do. And I think to see that transformation in just such a short time, in maybe 6 months or so, in just 6 months, we see the transformation and it's so rewarding. The teachers are also more relaxed now, you know. But yeah, I think that's really what picks us up from those struggles.
Moving on a bit from probably struggles, I think for Rebecca, 9.5 years, I keep saying that. I joke about her. I was like, oh my gosh, you're a decade long in Dignity. It's a long time, really, right? 9.5 years, like, yeah, what keeps you going? I think some of the participants asked as well, you know, what drives you? What a passion, it can be a passion, but maybe like 2 years, some of the passion goes down a bit more, but 9.5 years later, do you still wake up excited?
Do I? I think not every day you wake up excited, but you wake up, I think, like living more than yourself. I think that is very important. Like, because sometimes it's human, right? You get tired, you get like affected emotionally, like physically, like, and you'll be like, so tired. But then when you live like beyond yourself, that's different, because you'll be like, you know, this is not about me, right? This is about everybody else. So yeah, I think yes, to some degree, I think that has really helped to help me to move on, to continue on. But I do think it's very important. Like for me, first is of course God. Like God is like, you know, the anchor, right? No matter what your faith is, you need to have that anchor. And I think number two is a community. I think what Priscilla mentioned earlier is very important. That it's not one person, right? It's not like Rebecca, like I can't do anything. It's a community of people, and we really have really good teams, like not just in one program, but across Dignity. I mean, if you have not come, you should come and visit. You will really meet like a bunch of amazing people that really have the heart, the desire, the commitment to serve together. And I think that's really beautiful. And I think that's what keep each other going when it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, the unseen part of our, how to say, labor, our team, not labor. Yeah, so we have the education team, but like Rebecca said, it takes a community, right? The classroom wouldn't clean by itself, and we have a beautiful team of cleaners, admin team, security guards. Some of them are non-Malaysians. Some of them are from the B40 community themselves. And just seeing them being so generous and being so loving to the children as well. They too themselves have so much struggles. I know of some that are, you know, single parents, some of them who are refugees themselves, and all this different background. But what's beautiful in here in this organization, it's really a community of different people just coming together. Not to complain, because even the cleaners during the pandemic time, they still came back to sanitize the classrooms just to prepare for different living programs or different needs that come along the way. And they just selflessly give. And last year when we did a 50% pay cut just to keep the organization afloat, that didn't exclude them. It also, they were together with us to go through the struggles, and yeah, so that keeps us going, I think. Yeah, so Rebecca probably will be here for another 10 more years. Melissa, you have anything? What keeps you going here? Or
I would say for me, myself, I will ask myself like why I started, why I decided to stay. So it will reminds me of why I chose Dignity. And then, yeah, of course, like what Rebecca said, you cannot live like alone. We need everyone to work on this together. So I think to have the support from each other that keeps us going. You know, when I have problems, then Rebecca, support me. So yeah, so I would say yeah, the community support as well as always remind ourselves why we start. Yeah.
I'll throw it on Shireen, because Shireen also left the corporate world to join Dignity. She has accounting degree, right? Yeah, finance.
Yeah.
She joined the Big Four initially after she graduated, and then wonderfully decided to leave and join TFM, Teach for Malaysia, which she was teaching in the government school, and now with Dignity. Why?
Why? Very briefly, why I left auditing was because I was traveling into a rural area of Sabah, and that's where I encountered children who have not been to school. You know, they weren't dressed in school uniform. They were just playing at the side of their wooden house. And, you know, I was there just to stock count, but in a palm oil estate in a rural area of Sabah where you can't really access with normal, you know, like any roads, you have to go through with boats and stuff like that. So, so why I want to teach, and also, of course, you know, joining Teach for Malaysia was one of the foundation for me to be able to become a teacher, because I don't have any education like degree or background and like that. Then why Dignity, right? As I mentioned just now, I was super inspired with the things that Dignity has done. Also, it's amazing to see how there's this NGO that works with the poor, at the same time providing education, because I believe education is the most important tool for anyone to actually come out from that cycle of poverty. So it was just amazing to see the different people here. And that was during school holidays, as I bring you back to my introduction just now. That was during school holidays, right? And I saw teachers coming in and still work. I came just to wait for my recruiter, HR. Actually, she wasn't. Yeah, she was. Yeah, so basically, she was there to just bring me for a visit. But as I was just waiting, I saw different teachers coming here. I was like, what are you doing here? Maybe they have not seen this face before. I was like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm just waiting for so and so. And it's like, okay. Yeah, she might be upstairs. I'll be going to my class. Then she just walk. So a few teachers actually came and just greeted me and asked me, what am I doing here? And I'm like, wow, this whole place is filled with like community, very community-like, and everyone, like, even before we started this, right? We had like some very brief practice, and we just laugh about anything that we just share, because like sometimes it's just very difficult every day in, day out. Like what Rebecca was mentioning, like there's not every day I'm motivated to wake up and do this, but knowing that there are people here who actually work with you together, and of course knowing that someone might be transformed today, maybe today, right? At least that one person, one student, but of course with the whole team here who is also working together and show up, that is very important. So I got to do my part as well because I'm part of this team. Yeah.
Priscilla? Anything to add? Were there like emotional breakdowns? That was one question, right? From the. Are there times of emotional breakdown as teachers might get too personal or over sympathize with issues and family backgrounds?
Okay. All right. How did this question come to me?
Surprise.
Russian roulette. I think I said that just now. There were many times. Of course, it's not shown in front of everybody, because I think sometimes when you get into a leadership position, it's just difficult to be showing that side of yourself, because the team is counting on you. Yeah. So sorry, it's how I get through it, is it? Okay. Yeah, I think it's the team of amazing people that we have. I think sometimes we'll just, we don't see each other every day. We have different offices, but whenever we see each other, we will talk about anything and struggles or happy things that happen in our in our day. And the one thing that we most commonly talk about is students, because Shireen from primary, and then Rebecca, and then myself, and then we'll talk about, oh, this student is in your department, and how is she doing now, you know? And I think sometimes for the younger programs, they don't really see the transformation because they don't see them when they only see them when they graduate, but not day in and day out, right? So then I think I'm very grateful again to be in Dignity College because I get to see the transformation. The last 2 years of their schooling year, I get to see it, and I would never ask for anything else. And you know, to also see them like Moses, like the video of Moses just now, him giving back to the community, and he is not the only one. There are so many others, and I have 2 Rohingya girls who are interning with Women's Aid and being translators in Women's Aid, giving back to their own people, their own community. That's just something that makes me very, very proud, and I hope to see more of that happening.
So back to like online learning a bit. Times are still uncertain, but what the team, education team is planning is for hybrid learning. Rebecca, you want to share more about that? Because I understand some of you who are educators have asked that as well. You know, what's the future of the schools going to look like, or how is education going to look like? We don't have all the answers, but this is what Dignity is doing.
Yeah, so we started hybrid with the older kids, so because they can come back now in the phase 4 of the education plan. So they will be here on some days, and they will be here, they will continue online on the other days. It has been working well, but of course there are some parents, understandably, are very concerned. So they would want their child to continue to be online. So what happens is that the teachers will have a group in the classroom and another group online. That has been extremely challenging for the teachers to be like, okay, everybody, and okay, are you okay? You know, but I think we will have to adapt. And that's one thing that we have continuously learned, right? We have to adapt, we have to be creative, and we always challenge one another and, you know, like, okay, think differently. So I think next year, moving on next year, it will probably be hybrid. We understand the concerns from the parents and from the community. So, but we also understand we need to support the students better. So I won't be surprised if we might do another live-in, travel and learn on top of the hybrid, yeah.
I've asked a lot of questions, so I'm not sure if you guys have any questions to add to the panels. But while the team probably gather, or while you think of a question to add to them, I think, just to add one more question is that, what are your personal hopes or your dreams? You know, like I work in an NGO for a reason. Like what do you hope to while you're here? Because I'm sure you're not going to be here for 60 years, maybe. So what do you hope to? We'll start with Melissa.
What do I hope to? For the student, the young one, of course, for the young one, I hope they enjoy their learning. Like, I remember one of the students, she will ask me like, oh, teacher, next week is holiday. I don't like holiday because you always give me homework. So I was like, okay. So after she complained about it, then I feel like, okay, I need to give you a fun kind of homework. So I hope for young learners, they will, have fun while they're learning so that they don't feel stressed out at this young age. Yeah, that's for me.
Hey, Shireen?
What I really hope for my students is that they are able to complete their education, especially when they finish primary, hoping that they will go to secondary and finish another 5 years. It's actually very difficult because every time when I check in with like Rebecca, Priscilla, sometimes students do drop out, and it's the reality. I really hope that they really complete, and especially the first batch that I've taught, and really want to see them graduate. I think 2 more years or 1 more year, I forgot. Yeah, I think 1 more year, yes, yeah. So just hoping to see them in, graduation gown and, taking pictures and, for myself, I'm just very passionate about training the teachers, seeing education transform. So for myself, I don't know. I don't see a 5-year or 10-year plan for me, but I'm just enjoying every day. Just want to be in the present at this time, at this moment in time, and to appreciate everyone that is around me right now. And also, of course, I would just always think like, what would we do better next time? How do we move forward? And I'm just grateful to have people who actually layan me, entertain my thoughts, those kind of thing. So entertain, my deep thoughts and just have these conversations together. And I'm just really appreciative people who care for the students and who care for, having them to be educated. So something, yeah, that's my personal, yeah.
Last words.
Oh, okay. So hopes and dreams, I have a lot. The biggest one will be, I think this is really very far, very far away, but I'm just saying it so that, we can all see that happening one day. It's a peaceful world without conflict, because most of our children came to this country because of conflict back in their home country, and that shouldn't be happening at all. Nobody should be nobody should be killed just because they have a different skin color, or persecuted just because they believe in a different God. So that's the first one. And then for the students and dignity, I just hope more people, like the people here in Dignity, can support and can join our journey of transformation for the children. You may not see it happening in one day, but if you stick true with us, you will see it one day. Yeah.
Yes. I think for definitely the hope is for all the students to graduate no matter what the struggle is. One story that came to mind is that, one of my student in Form 3, his dad passed away recently because of an illness. And he was so mature and so resilient throughout. And I just check in, how are you doing? I know this week you have not been in school because of what happened. And he was so mature, he was so, yeah, teacher, I look forward to come back next week. I promise I'll come back. I said, yeah, no worry, take your time. So I think to see each student and each member in our team to grow throughout these challenges, whether it's pandemic or after pandemic, there might be more challenges, right? That throughout the challenges, they would, like our topic, right? Struggles to strength. So we hope that for every child and every staff member, and as well to everyone tune in, that you would turn to strength whatever struggles that we might be facing now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. I'm not sure if there's questions, but we just want to take a break first. If there are questions, we might address it later after 2 more sharings from our students. But I think just to wrap up here, this panel, thank you, ladies, for your heartfelt sharing. We didn't plan for all this. It's really just growing because of the passion. It really, if you can't see, their eyes are watery, they're teary. It's because of their heart for the children. That's what really drives Dignity. So we do hope that one day those who have not visited will get to meet us physically and hear the stories for yourself. I'll just wrap up this panel a bit. If you can, give your virtual clap. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Shereen. Thank you, Priscilla, for this time. And there's 2 more, I want to say 2 more cute stories, but there's one primary student story right after one of our students now. Her name is Sandra. So she was, just as their hope and dream, she was a student, she graduated, and now she's an intern. And she's also one of the 10 A-level students that's in our boarding program. So over to Tech Team to hear her story.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra and I am 19 years old. I recently finished my IGCSE last year and I'm currently in Dignity's A-Levels program. I'm also interning in Dignity as a preschool teacher whilst juggling with my studies. In the year 2018, my family struggled to make ends meet, and that was my first year in Dignity. I remember only being able to eat food provided by the church. And I remember my father being very frustrated and disheartened that he couldn't pay the school fees for both my siblings and I. It was very disheartening, the thought of not being able to go to school. But luckily, I applied for EAC. After months and months of long interviews and house visits, I was able to get the scholarship. I was overjoyed that I could finally go to school and study. After my IGCSE, I often wondered what would I do after. I was worried that I couldn't go to school for the IGCSE, but luckily the A-level program started. It's been 9 months since the program started and it has not been easy. I remember when we were told that the program would be a boarding program, I was very, very worried. So after a few months, I finally adjusted and I've learned to be more independent and responsible for myself. When I started as a preschool teacher, I was worried that I couldn't teach the kids, but luckily I was blessed with a wonderful team of teachers that always supported me throughout. So I'm really thankful to my team for constantly pushing me and always having my back. During this time of teaching, I've realized that I'm really grateful to my previous teachers for being patient and understanding towards me. As right now, I understand how it feels to be a teacher. And I also hope to teach my students good values that they can remember as they grow older. And this experience has been tough, but I'm really grateful that I was blessed with this opportunity, that I could go to school and also learn some real life work experience. So I just like to thank everybody for granting me this opportunity and the chance to further my education.
Sorry. Thank you for Sandra's sharing. That's not the last one. So Sandra is, amazingly, she's still with our preschool classroom and leading one of the class. Now is the cutest one. He's a 12-year-old primary student under Shireen's program. I personally would vote for him to be president. So he is our, nonetheless, Farah. He's a Pakistani boy, yes. He started a podcast even during the pandemic, and he's very passionate about space, galaxies, and all this. So the first podcast title, he shared all about the black hole. I believe my team will share, the tech team will share the podcast link. You can check it out after the event. But yeah, let's hear it from him. It's a bit of a Q&A about why he joined Dignity and about receiving education. So a bit of backstory before you watch the video, because he's very confident in the video, but before he joined Dignity, apparently, like hearing from Shireen, he couldn't speak English well. And now you see the transformation.
Hello everyone, my name is Farhan Muzaffar and I am 12 years old. I am from upper primary and I have 5 family members, my sister and my little brother and my father and mother.
Do you remember your first day at Dignity in school and how did you feel about it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember that the first day at my school was 3rd January 2019 and when I was going to school I was really nervous. I didn't know how to speak English. I was so much shy to speak English. And my father and mother would also tell me to speak English at home like for an hour, but no, I wasn't ready for it. But when I went to school, because of our teachers and my friends, I got confidence and then everything went well for me.
Is there a favorite moment or what do you enjoy most about studying
Well, everything that I study in Dignity is really amazing. When we study any subjects, teachers make it really fun and interesting, and even the hardest subject is really easy for me. And I also really like about the field trips we have. It's like 3 to 4 times a year, but because of now there is pandemic, we can't go to field trips, and I'm really sad for it. But when I used to go, it was so fun, exciting, and I used to learn many things from the field trip, so it was really nice.
Farhan, are there any recent projects that you have worked on?
Yeah, I have made a podcast and the topic was black holes. I am really interested in science and space, so that's why I choose to do a podcast on black holes, and this was the project that I made.
Okay, it seems like you are definitely really interested in the wonders of space and science. Are you looking forward by any chance to become an astronaut or a scientist?
Yeah, I really want to be an astronaut in the future, and I want to explore our vast universe and every stars and galaxies in it. And I want to live in space, travel to different planets, and most importantly, discover something incredible.
Maybe you can let me know about your thoughts on if you think students or even friends your age should continue to dream and work hard.
Yeah, that's really important. Students my age should continue to dream because it will help them in the future. If there is a dream, then you are surely to be successful. First, make a dream and then achieve your dream. Oh, and students also should remain at school because it will help them in many things, and they will develop social link with their teachers and friends. They will have a lot of friends to talk to, and it will be fun making projects, and it is a really important part of being successful.
Is there anyone that you would like to thank today specifically for giving you this opportunity to dream?
So first of all, I would like to thank Allah Almighty. It's all His blessings that I'm right here. And secondly, I would like to thank to my parents. They were always with me when I had any problem, and they would give me really nice solutions. And I would also like to thank to my teachers. It's all their hard work, and teachers also have a big hand that I got this opportunity. So I would like to thank to them too.
Thank you so much for sharing with us, Farhan. Is there anything that you'd like to say to them before we finish?
Yeah, of course. Thank you all donors for your support. With each donation we receive, we become more closer to our goal. And thank you for making a difference by your compassion and generosity. Knowing that we are in a time for financial instability, so your donation is really special to us. Thank you, and I also believe that I would be able to achieve my dreams if I work hard, and I am going to work hard. So thank you everyone for listening to me.
So all would, oh, not yet. Thank you, Farhan. He's not here physically with us, but I love his video. It's my 4th time watching it, and I'm still like, oh, amazed. Amazing, right? Amazing transformation to see from broken English. Remember, his starting word was so much shy to speak English, to now conversing properly in proper sentences. So yes, last but not least, we have, of course, our co-founder, Reverend Elisha Satvinder, to share a few words. I'm not sure if you're going to share your struggles, but yes. Let's put our hands together, a virtual emoji to welcome him.
Good morning, everyone. And, I want to introduce you to a few people. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing that. First, I want the camera to just turn around and show you a bunch of wonderful people that are studio, this auditorium. I want you to look around, and I want them to wave at you, and they are the backbone of a lot that's happening today. And of course, there are different ones who have been, don't take too long, because take the picture, take it back on me, yeah? So I'm just, again, a very good morning, and I'm not going to take too long to address you today to bring this to a close, but I do want to tie in a few thoughts together for you. You know, we often hear two great cliches or statements by two big sports outfits. Adidas, impossible is nothing. Nike, just do it. But somehow we make it a cliche. We identify it with sports, or we identify it as a short term event. But I think dignity embodies impossible is nothing, just do it. Now, we just don't see this happening in the hearts and the minds and in the lives and the daily expressions of the teachers. But we see that embodied in them, but transpiring through their lives to connect into the students. You heard stories, and my dear friends, there are many more stories such as these. Hundreds, if not thousands, at Dignity. But I must say this, in the world. And I want to introduce you to a group of people that have taught me this one very valuable lesson. You can be a voice. We can hear names like Mother Teresa. We can hear names like Nelson Mandela. We can hear names like Florence Nightingale. We hear of all these different names, the Dalai Lama. We hear of wonderful names, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. We hear this, but they were not born with something so unique. They were all born with the same opportunities, same DNA, like you and me. It's something that happened with them along the way that made impossible possible, that began to inspire this just do it. Let me start with the person who really makes it happen. My wife, Patrina, if you'll see the picture there. And our two biological daughters. But that's the farm, the picture that we have just started about 8 months ago. And if you, now that the roadblocks are away, please come and visit us. It's also another amazing program that Patrina anchors with a bunch of people to see transformation come through the farm and the various dreams that we have and the things that we want to do. Now, why are these three people so important? Very simple. I can say all I want to say, or Trina can say all that she wants to say, but it just remains an idea, a thought, a philosophy, if nobody else does anything. Davina and Hannah, our two daughters, they also played an amazing part. Then comes in this group of people. If I can change the slides, please. Of course, we have Adina, Rahul, and Ethan. And of course, there's Davina there. And then we have another bunch of kids that Patrina is reading to, the past of them. They're part of our three kids who are also. Let me extend it a bit further. This is a little break we took, and all of our children that Patrina and I, you can see in our home, everybody having this, it wasn't the last supper, we're still around. And why am I showing you this picture? Is there another picture? Sorry, can you hear me now? Okay. And why do I show you all these pictures? They all give us a reality of life on what happens in Dignity. Because Patrina and I can be so detached, and because the families, that the children that you look to here, that you're looking at, each has an amazing story of their own. Each has a story that tells you, oh my goodness, how could your parents do that to you? Oh, how could your family do that to you? Oh, how could the people in your community do that to you? Oh my goodness, your life. Now, these are the few Patrina has taken and I have taken into our homes to inspire them. And then comes the larger family of dignity. We have seen about 15,000 come through the last 20 over years. We have seen, you have heard this amazing 4 ladies, 5 ladies talk about things, isn't it? And the challenges, and you see them day in, day out with joy, without grumbling. I don't know whether they grumble in their car and they break the dashboard of their car when they drive back, or they break plates at home. God forbid they do that, and I doubt that they do that. But you see, they are the ones who embody this impossible is nothing, just do it. And that is something that happens in each one of the teachers and all the others at Dignity. But beyond that, it actually happens in your life, our partners, our donors. People like Moses would have never graduated without you. Our little Pakistani friend would have never dreamed. He would have been in a perpetual black hole that would have just engulfed him with hopelessness and darkness. But you gave him an inspiration to go into outer space and look and say, you know, if I may borrow a bit of the Star Trek, boldly going where others will not. Now tell me, how many people would have given him an opportunity to say, dream, impossible is nothing, just do it. They would have said, you're a poor boy, you're a refugee, be quiet, just take care of this lot in your life. I vehemently disagree with it, just like I know you will disagree with it and say, it is possible. It is possible, you know why? Because you are there, our donors, our supporters. Because our teachers are there, who inspire and wake up in the midst of all the challenges and learning new abilities to bring education via the Zoom, via the network, whatever it may be, creating curriculum. Patrina and her team constantly figuring ways out, looking through. It embodies the Star Trek philosophy, isn't it? Boldly going where nobody else does. We are not some fancy international school where people pay, 30,000 fee a month. You know what? We ask others to pay the 30,000, though it's not, so that we can empower these kids and say, look beyond today, look beyond your circumstances. Impossible is nothing, just do it. Why? Because we've got an amazing group of people who are going to teach you, who are going to create the curriculum, who are going to create the environment and the culture. And we've got an amazing group of partners who believe in you. And you know what? Just pause for a moment. And I know a lot of you who are watching on by yourself, but pat yourself on the back and say, you are Captain Kirk in their life. Because you are saying, let's go. They may not hear your voice physically, but they hear your voice through your support, through the inspiration of the teachers, through the inspiration of everything that takes place in class, through their devices, through the food that we support. We are supporting, you heard, I believe it was one of the teachers who said here, was it Renee, or it was James Ling, our chairman, who said, a year ago we had about close to 400 looking for support. It has doubled. And we have a waiting list. You know what? Will you boldly board the Starship Dignity, not Enterprise, the Starship Dignity, and let's press full throttle down and blast into the amazing future that awaits them, that awaits you, that awaits a generation yet to hear of the possibility that awaits for them because you made it possible. So will you come on? And of course, I boldly would say, please come, send in your support so that we can close the year well, inspiring the kids and saying, there is somebody on board. I'm sorry, I'm using a lot of movies thing here, yeah? There's somebody aboard the Starship Dignity, and we are pressing forward at light speed because your future matters, your life matters, what you're gonna do matters, and we want to be there for you to see it materialize, to see it happen. Stories, I could sit here for the rest of the day with you over a cup of coffee or tea, your preference, and tell you amazing stories. Of course, there are heartbreaking stories. Those who never make it, those whose parents never allow them to do it. We're working with single moms right now. There are over 20 moms who are pregnant that we have to intervene. You may say, you're an education center. What's happening? My dear friend, that woman, those women are carrying a child, a living being that not only is just going to come into this world, but would need you and me and all the crew here to make sure they have an education, that they will have enough supplements in their life, that they will be given the opportunity to believe them that they can do things that are impossible, that they can do if they just pick up the attitude and say, I am going to do it. Because you are there, because the teachers are there, because people are likes of Patrina and the team are there, and we're going to take them to an amazing future that we may not be able to see right now, but you and I know the future beckons us. Will you come on? The Starship Dignity. And with us saying, impossible is nothing. Let's just do it. Our hands are stretched out, and so are the hands of the children, if you can see that. Will you clasp our hands and say, I'm here with you. Let's launch boldly into the future. God bless you. Thank you for your amazing support. Let's make it a record 2022 year of amazing support and donation, where we can educate so many more and telling them, impossible is nothing. You can do it. Just do it. The future waits for you with great opportunities. God bless you. Please do watch. If you've missed some of this, log on, you'll get the link. But can I ask you to do one more thing, please? Send the link to somebody else that you know is able to support, wants to support, or should support children such as those that are at Dignity. God bless you. Have a great, great year ahead. Bless you.
If it's anyone who would lead the struggles into strength, would be Pastor and Petrina themselves, to just continue for since 1998 the work and still going. No signs of retiring, Pastor. And yeah, through the heartbreaks, like what he shared, you know, his family, his extended family, the foster kids. It's not just a job, it's not just a work. It goes beyond passion even. But yeah, just to see that. So thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Petrina. And thank you all of you for joining us for the past an hour and a half. I didn't realize suddenly it's 11:32. I realized there are some questions that you have sent in. We hope to address it. I will personally probably drop you a message. I'll take note of the questions. But I think just to address two questions before we close and end the session is about the dropout rates. I don't have the exact figures right now, but there are definitely dropouts due to the differences in culture and whatnots, because sometimes it really isn't just one reason. So what we do is, as Shireen and some of the teachers mentioned, there will definitely be interventions, there will be calls, there will be visitations, that we will try our very best to not make that dropout happen. But there are cases where it does go through, and we move on. We move on with the rest who are still with us. I think the other questions was about funding. So yes, there are 1,600 students with us and also the community school students. So a lot of resources are needed. Our blocks and buildings are rented, and the buses, which when the students are coming back physically, will resume. So all these are different costs that will be covered through Empower a Child program, which the link will be shared if you would like to support. So the monthly contribution will support us in the meals, the food aid, and all the other things. But the main thing is definitely the education fees, which will deter them from the dropouts. So I hope that addressed the two questions. Thank you for asking. And with that, I would like to say a huge thank you. Thank you for joining us for sort of a free agenda day, just hearing stories and sharings. But thank you for walking this journey with us, really. We've done an event earlier this March, and just to have another one today and have, I think, close to 90 plus of you here with us. Yeah, thank you for your support, your love, your likes on your Facebook, your sharing, your word of mouth. All that goes to support our work. So yeah, I hope to see you physically. The next event next year, here in this auditorium, we hope to host probably not 100 of you, but at least 50 of you. A hybrid, we'll do the hybrid one, the way forward, right? So yes, thank you very much. Do go on to our website to learn more about our programs. If you have any questions that's specific to the head teachers, do feel free to drop in the contact information. We'll get back to you as well. Follow us on social media, promotion time. Yeah, and stay tuned to our work. Thank you very much. Thank you, tech team. Thank you, everyone. Bye.